Hey guys, and welcome to this week's Centering Moment. For those of you who are just joining us for the first time or still are trying to figure out what a centering moment is, this is just an opportunity for us to spend a few moments trying to take care of ourselves, trying to refocus on what matters most, trying to remind ourselves of who we are and the present moment, and trying to help put things in perspective. We get lots and lots of information, lots of stimulation every single day. And it's easy for us to spend all of our time just responding to the things that are happening to us, or reacting to them, instead of taking charge and slowing down and really deciding how we want to show up in the world and who we want to be. So the hope is that getting in a practice of spending a few moments like this from time to time just helps remind us of what matters most and helps get us in the practice of doing it more and more often. So this week, I'm going to share one of my favorite poems from one of my favorite authors. Her name is Rachel Naomi Remen, and if you're not familiar with her, I encourage you to check her out. The poem is called Pearls of Wisdom. So like I often do, I'm going to encourage you to get comfortable, whatever that looks like for you. You may be in a spot where you can sit down and close your eyes. You may be standing and in a place that you can't do that. But whatever it looks like for you, try and see if you can draw your attention inward, if you can slow your mind down. Maybe focus on the breath. Our breath is always with us, something we easily take for granted, but it can be a great tool to help us really focus our attention. So you don't have to change it in any way, but just notice your breathing. Notice the in-breath and the out-breath. See if you can just pay attention to it, even for a couple breaths. As you listen to these words, I invite you to think about your own relationship with pain and suffering and difficult things. And see if maybe you can think about it differently. So again, pearls of wisdom. An oyster is soft, tender, and vulnerable. Without the sanctuary of its shell, it could not survive. But oysters must open their shells in order to breathe water. Sometimes, while an oyster is breathing, a grain of sand will enter its shell and become a part of its life from then on. Such grains of sand cause pain, but an oyster does not alter its soft nature because of this. It does not become hard and leathery in order not to feel. It continues to entrust itself to the ocean, to open and breathe in order to live. But it does respond. Slowly and patiently, the oyster wraps the grain of sand in thin, translucent layers until, over time, it has created something of great value in the place where it was most vulnerable to its pain. A pearl might be thought of as an oyster's response to its suffering. Sand is a way of life for an oyster. If you are soft, tender, and must live on the sandy floor of the ocean, making pearls becomes a necessity if you are to live well. And so it is. Something in us can transform suffering into wisdom. One by one, We let things go. Anger, blame, a sense of injustice. And finally, even the pain itself, until all we have left is a deeper sense of the value of life and a greater capacity to live it. May we each experience that more and more each day and month and year. A deeper sense of the value of life and a greater capacity to live it. Feel free to wiggle your toes, open your eyes, take a couple more good breaths. You deserve multiple times a day, but at least once a day, to just sit still for a few minutes, to breathe, to quiet your mind, to think about something important, to think about who you want to be and what matters most in your life and the nature of life itself. That may seem decadent, that may seem out of reach, but you are the one that gets to decide what your life looks like. Hopefully, doing things like this, having little moments in your day, helps you to prioritize and to get the perspective that you want. We all need it from time to time, little reminders. Hope that you're doing something today besides just this to take care of yourself. Maybe think about what that's going to be. And I will look forward to seeing you soon. Y'all take care of yourselves.